So in this segment, we're going to be discussing effectively Russia, the Russian invasion of Ukraine enters the endgame. So you had Olaf Scholz, the leader of Germany, called Vladimir Putin, and Zelensky's calling that a Pandora's box, calling it a bad idea, saying there may be other conversations held and phone calls, just lots of words. Effectively, what Zelensky's trying to argue is by taking these kind of phone calls, Putin is going to try and divide Europe. And that's one of the major factors going in, especially with the German election coming up. So this is Zelensky's kind of argument against, such calls to Vladimir Putin. And Schultz's call to Putin was not simply just about Trump. It's also about domestic context, electoral race. Schultz wants to position himself as a peace chancellor. So he wants to position himself as the guy who kind of ended the war. But I just don't see them being able to achieve that, especially given the fact that Trump won't even be inaugurated by the time that I think Trump might be inaugurated by the time Germany have elections, but it's not really going to do much. So I think Schultz is taking a massive gamble here. Now you got Zelensky says war will end sooner with Trump as president. So Ukraine's Volodymyr Zelensky says he is certain the war with Russia will end sooner than it would have otherwise under Donald Trump. Zelensky said he had a constructive exchange with Trump during their phone conversation after his victory in the US. He did not say whether Trump made any demands. And so, Ukraine being a massive recipient of, American weapons, it puts that in doubt. The German elections on the 23rd of February, hard to articulate how important these will be for Germany and Europe and Ukraine. We don't know how, David Henning's asking, do we know how good the AfD and the other pro-peace / surrender parties will do? And I do wonder, what is the mood in Germany regarding the war as well? Because Germany has suffered the consequences of this war as well, in terms of massively increased energy costs, as well as other issues. That Russia is a major trading partner of with Russia. So I do wonder, how much of that's taken an impact as well. So it's not a great situation for Germany, which has struggled. I think it's the economy that struggled the most in the G7 kind of post-pandemic. And we've seen here that Russia vows to respond if Ukraine uses US long-range missiles to hit its territory. So essentially the Americans have given Ukraine permission to use ATACMS further within Russian territory, so they can actually hit more military targets further into Russia, and that pushes back Russian supply chains. There's a guy called William Spaniel, Lines on Maps. He does great explanations on this kind of stuff, and so he's a guy I really, really highly recommend. Could not recommend him more. Probably one of the best channels in the space. Genuinely just a real titan of kind of discussing war tactics and things like that. So this is a game changer here, and I think when it comes to this war, we are effectively in the end game.
Why would you do that? We're in the end game now.
So it'd be interesting to see how this kind of plays out. I don't do a ton of coverage on this stuff, just because it's not within my wheelhouse. It's more UK politics is within. UK politics is more within my wheelhouse over international stuff. But I think we're in the end game with this. This war could potentially end within the next 12 months. What the ending will look like, God knows. In terms of the peace settlement and things like that. But given that both sides are effectively near enough at a stalemate, I do wonder what happens from here, and if America does, if Donald Trump does stop arming Ukraine, then it's basically Jenga. I can't see the Ukrainians lasting that long. Europe hasn't done enough to increase the amount of arms we produce in order to help Ukraine enough. So I think that's basically over at that point. So it'll be interesting to see how it goes. Biden might be able to flood Ukraine with weapons in order to help them keep going a bit longer, but eventually that all comes to an end with a Donald Trump presidency. So I'd be very interested to see kind of how this plays out over the next kind of up to the inauguration and then into the next year. So I'll keep my eye on it. I'll keep you guys posted. And we'll do some more stuff on this here and there. So let me know what you think in the comments below. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Support the channel on Patreon if you can. And hopefully I'll see you in the next one.